Happy Wednesday. We've got a full 15 game slate, and the Reds continue to just absolutely bend me over and screw me every single game. So, we're going to talk about it. The recap was just hideous, not good, absolutely terrible. I don't want to talk about it. Didn't go well. We ended up getting 9 out of 15 games right, but we did see some upsets. We saw the Giants win. We saw the Reds somehow win. For the love of God, why do they continue to screw me? Um, Interesting slate today. A lot of games I don't love, so this is going to be pretty quick, I think. There's going to be a lot of passes here. Starting with the Guardians, we've got Gavin Williams coming up from Columbus, AAA pitcher, about a 5, I think right at 5 ERA in the minors. Going up against Erick Fedde. Huge pitching advantage towards the White Sox. That said, Fedde hasn't been amazing lately. Pretty much count on 2-3 earned runs given up. But at minus 192, and if we look at yesterday's game, Cleveland won in the bottom of the ninth on a walk-off. Their bullpen gave up some runs, which is a little scary considering it's the best bullpen in baseball. The White Sox and Marlins, just two sneaky teams that can beat you on any night. This kind of feels like a White Sox night, to be honest. So, to me, this game is a complete pass. I'm not paying minus 192 for this team. Right, over the last 7 days, Cleveland's hitting 222, White Sox hitting 213. So fairly even there. If we expand it to 14 days, a little bit more towards the Guardians side at 240. I mean, the Guardians are the better team at home. They have a phenomenal 27-9 record, so hard to bet against them. But we got the wind blowing out, AAA pitcher. It just it screams. I mean, this line is just crazy juice. So yeah, not one I want to bet. I would lean towards the over though with the minor league pitcher on the mound. All right, another game that just reeks of fishiness here. We've got the over-under at 8. This feels extremely low with two pitchers with 5 ERAs. Bello has been horrendous lately. All right, we said it to his last couple starts. He has 1 or 2 innings where he just gets destroyed. And this feels like a night where the Marlins win, I'll be honest. Trevor Rogers on the hill. Doesn't pitch great against lefties, so that's a little concerning. Right-handed split's pretty good. We look at Bello, just a terrible split either way. 415 average to lefties, giving up a 300 average to righties. This just feels like a Marlins spot to me. Marlins team total is over 3.5. That feels really low considering Bello sucked. So really fishy lines all around, right? Marlins team total being what it is, right? And they can't hit. They've been struggling to hit. 211 last 7 days, 220 last 14. But I can't back the Red Sox with Bello on the mound. He's just been horrendous lately, even though the Red Sox kind of put a thumping on the Marlins yesterday. Much better pitcher on the mound than what they had yesterday, and it's a lefty, so like I said, my lean would be Marlins or pass, but these first 2 games are a pass for me. This game's a pass as well. We've got Jared Jones going up against Miles Mikolas. You know, Pittsburgh had a huge pitching advantage yesterday, didn't take advantage. Kyle Gibson did very well. Mitch Keller got rocked. Pirates came back in the later stages of the game, but it was still 7-4. So Mikolas has regressed a little bit. He got absolutely rocked by the Reds. So I don't have a lot of faith in him. Jared Jones started off the year phenomenally. You know, he's got a 2.20 home ERA. Mikolas 4.59 away ERA. Now, that said, last start Mikolas had was in St. Louis against the Pirates on the 11th. 7 innings, 1 hit, 6 Ks. Now, what we've seen is typically when they do well at home, they go to the other team's stadium and get rocked. So lean is definitely towards the Pirates, just a better pitcher. That said, don't love either bullpen. Not a huge fan of either bullpen, really. The Cardinals bullpen hasn't been phenomenal lately. So the splits, you know, Pittsburgh's got 5 left-handed hitters. Mikolas definitely worse against lefties, so that kind of works towards the edge of the Pirates. Conversely, St. Louis has 4 right-handed hitters, and Jones is a little weaker against righties, so everything kind of points towards the Pirates here. And I do see kind of a yo-yo effect in several games today, and this is one of them. Nerfy is a really good candidate. We did cash our parlay with the Cardinals Pirates and the Mets Nationals Nerfy. So that was literally the only thing that hit yesterday. So shitty day. Pirates money line for me. All right, Nats and Mets. I don't know what's going on with this series, but the first 6, 7 innings, there's just like hardly any offense, and it goes into extra innings, and then all of a sudden they wake up. So that tells me, the bullpens suck. And if we look at the Nats bullpen, my God, they have used their bullpen a decent amount. This bullpen is heavily taxed, like heavily, heavily taxed. That said, the Mets sent Meatball McGill down, brought back Christian Scott, who I really like. He is a really good right-handed pitcher. He throws some heat. Mitchell Parker is okay, right? We saw the Mets struggle against Mackenzie Gore, also a left-handed pitcher. Big disparity between Mitchell Parker and Mackenzie Gore, in my opinion. Gore is a much better pitcher. We look at the Mets hitting left-handed pitchers over the last 2 weeks. They've been hot. They've been probably the best team in baseball hitting left-handed pitching. But we have to factor in that they did get absolutely blanked by Gore. So that said, I still like Mets money line. If they can get to Parker early and get to that bullpen, they're going to feast. We've seen it the last 2 games. By the time the bullpen comes in, it's run city. So I like Mets money line. I think the Nerfy is a good candidate here. Christian Scott worries me a little bit, but Nats are literally the top team for Nerfies. So love the Nerfy yet again in this series. See if we can go 3 for 3. Scott, hasn't pitched in the majors since 5:30, so it's been a little bit. And Parker does have a really good home ERA at 2.27. So I could see the under hitting. I just get a little nervous with the last 2 games going to extra innings. You would have lost that under. So Mets for me, hard to pass the Mets up right now. All right, next game, Reds Yankees. Goddamn Reds. I thought Heel would have a decent game, and he was doing okay until he got to the 5th, right? We just needed him to get through the 5th for our pitching outs prop, and nope, couldn't do it. He got absolutely rocked. De La Cruz smacked a home run off of him. We've got Carlos Rodon going up against Andrew Abbott. Rodon, we bet against him in Toronto, and it paid off. He gave up 5 runs in the first inning, I believe. He didn't even get an out. So his last couple of starts have just been horrendous. I think he's rocking like a 13 ERA his last 3. Somewhere, don't quote me on that, but it's roughly in that arena. It's kind of hard to bet against the Reds. Andrew Abbott's been pretty solid. That said, if we look at his splits, there's some regression coming. I do think we'll see a little bit of regression. I am scared about the Yankees right-handed hitters, right? Verdugo, Judge, those folks, he hangs them, they bang them. That's kind of my fear. So I would say Reds are pass. One line you could look at is New York Yankees team total over 4.5. I'm staying away from this game. My pick is Reds. So that means 100% Yankees win because I'm 0 for 58 betting the Reds. So I do like the Reds in this situation, though. That said, the pitch splits really go towards Rodon. All right, this game, we are not struggling on handicapping the Astros. We've done very well over the past week with the Astros. I'm not sure we've missed a game on them. So I like a yo-yo effect today. We were back in the Blue Jays yesterday, came through. I like the inverse today. I like the Astros. Blanco going up against Kikuchi. There's a big pitching disparity there. We did see the Astros bats kind of come to life at the end of the game yesterday. So I think we see some runs today. But I think the Astros score more. So we are going Astros money line. If we look over the last, 14 days, they're hitting right-handed pitching well, hitting 330 last 14, 361 last 7. Blanco's pitch splits work very well, whereas Kikuchi's not as much. So there's a pretty decent edge here towards the Astros. So like them on the money line. The Braves absolutely sold us yesterday. Their offensive woes continued. I really thought they could break out against a very subpar pitcher with a high expected ERA, but no. They just decided they were going to score 2 runs early, which was awesome because I had their first 5. And then, Lopez in the top of the fifth just decided to serve up 2 solos. So we ended up losing our first 5 bet there. That was cool. And Giants ended up winning 4-2. All right, we got Hicks going up against Sale. Sale has been, lights out. This dude has had one bad outing since May 1st. He gave up 8 earned runs to the A's. Other than that, it's zeros, a lot of zeros and ones. So really hard to not back the Braves today going up against Jordan Hicks. Hicks's hard hit percentage is really high at 42.1%, and he doesn't get a lot of swing and misses. So they are putting the bat on the ball. Conversely, Sale is the other way around. He has a fairly low hard hit percentage, and he gets a lot of swing and misses. So I think the Sale K prop is definitely in play. It's just a little juice for me. That said, the Braves have to hit. They've been very consistent over the last 2 weeks, about a 200 batting average. So we just have not seen them hit. This is a really good get right spot here. Hicks 333 average to lefties, 269 to righties. So this is really going to be kind of a litmus test for the Braves. If they don't hit today, they're just an insta fade until we start to see some offense. But I like them on the money line today with Sale. I think they get up. Pitch splits don't necessarily favor Sale, but he's just such an elite pitcher right now that it's hard. Honestly, I don't know if I'll bet this game. If anything, I might look at like the under with the wind blowing in, but I can't trust the Braves. 2.33 runs over the last 3 games. Giants averaging a little over 7. So really tough spot there, especially at minus 205. All right, Cubs and Phillies. We were on the Phillies last night. That was a pretty, I won't say pretty easy cash. It was easy up until the end. Last inning, the Cubs came to life a little bit. We've got the Phillies on the money line. Really like them there. We've got Zach Wheeler going up against Shota Imanaga. I'm just not impressed with Imanaga. He's definitely shown some vulnerabilities. Last outing was okay. Outing before that against the Mets at home, he got absolutely rocked. I think the Phillies bats are really good. It's like I've been saying, the run production is starting to pick up now, even though they don't have Schwarber or Harper, and that we've started to see those timely hits. Really, the hit numbers haven't stopped since those 2 went out of the lineup. So I like them today. Back in Zach Wheeler, I think he has a day. I don't trust the Cubs offense. They've just been really, really bad. Imanaga, if we look, 66% of his outs come via the fly ball. So he gives up a lot of fly balls, and we've got the wind blowing a little bit out in Wrigley. So everything kind of favors Phillies here. All right, Padres, Rangers. Dylan Cease sold us yesterday. Just a horrendous outing. Like I said, usually his outings, he goes in batches. Like he'll have 2 bad ones, 2 good ones, 2 bad ones, 2 good ones. 3 of his last 4 have just been bad. So Cease might be a fade for a little bit. John Gray going up against Adam Mazur. Pretty big pitching disparity there. So Gray's definitely been the better pitcher. Pitches quite well at home. Mazur's just not been good. So we're fading the Padres here. The last 2 games, they have not been able to produce hardly any runs. So I think we're seeing their bats cool down, and we're seeing the Rangers' bats heat up. They put up 11 against the Orioles, and good showing yesterday against the Padres, 6-7 runs, something like that. So we're going to ride the hot bats of the Rangers, and they have the better pitcher. All right, Rays-Royals, this game was so disappointing. It was such a good, just an amazing spot for the Royals, and fucking bats went cold on us again. So last 7 days, they're a top 10 hitting team. But that said, we didn't see crap yesterday. And Pepio is a significantly better pitcher than what they faced yesterday. So I don't trust him in this spot. Waka is very hittable. That said, he had a pretty decent last outing against Cleveland. But same thing, Cleveland was kind of trending downward with their sticks as well. Rays are on a tear. Got to give it to them. 7-3. I think they've won 2 or 3 series in a row. So got to back the Rays today. Can't back the Royals, which is very disappointing. All right, next game, Tigers Twins. We had the Twins. They came out early, put some runs against Skubal, and just kind of never looked back. I think the final score was 5-3. We've got Kiter Montero going up against David Festa today. Festa, I thought Festa looked really good in his last outing. Gave up 5 earned runs versus Arizona. Now, I will say that was a game where the Twins were up about 11-2 at that point, or maybe 11-0. I don't know. It was an absolute blowout. They left Festa out there a little bit longer than they should have because of that lead, and he got tagged at the end. That said, the first 4 innings he looked really good. So I think there is a pitching advantage towards the Twins. They have the hitting advantage by an absolute mile. So love the Twins to get it done today. Wind blowing out. Really love the spot for the Twins, and they're at home. So we're definitely fading the Tigers pitching and hitting. So should be a fairly easy win. Fingers crossed for the Twins. Brewers Rockies. This game was wild. We had Dallas Keuchel going up against Ryan Feltner, and they scored like 7 runs, which is crazy at Coors Field. Keuchel had it was just what the hell was going on with the sticks. Today we got Colin Rea, Dakota Hudson. Big pitching advantage towards the Brewers. Brewers have the offense advantage. I mean, everything under the sun works in the advantage of the Brewers. I would take the under 11.5. Like I said, we've got 2 significantly better pitchers going up against each other today, so I don't see them breaking out the sticks, but who knows? I would definitely just do Brewers, and the money line's a little sketchy. All right, Angels Athletics. Another one bit us in the ass. Soriano gave up a 3-run home run with 2 outs, so that was cool. And then they gave up another one. So, yeah, that kind of bit us in the ass. But today we've got Davis Daniel, really good pitcher. If we look at his projections today, the books are projecting him to have a very, very good day. So going up against Joey Estes, I got to go Angels here. I see a yo-yo effect. I still don't trust the Athletics, and the Angels have been hitting. If we look over the last 7 days, they've been a top 5 hitting team. Now they haven't faced stiff competition, but that doesn't really change today. And over the last 2 weeks, just been kind of an average team. So I'd like them to bounce back today, get the job done against Estes, who is not good. All right, next game, Orioles Mariners. It seemed like most people were on the Mariners yesterday. We were on the right side of this with the Orioles. I kind of see it the exact same way today. I see most people on the Mariners. I'm still seeing the Orioles here. Gilbert 2.7 home ERA. Kremer pitches better. Kremer, however you say his name, pitches better on the road. That said, he hasn't seen action since May 20th, so a little sketchy. But again, the books have him slated to have a very, very good day. So there's just too much of a disparity offensively between these 2 teams. I think the over 7 could be one you look at. I just don't know if I trust the Mariners to score a single run. That's the problem. So back in the Orioles again. Gilbert just has a bad split here. If we look, the Orioles hit fastball, cutter, curveball extremely well, and they're middle of the road in the slider and sinker. So everything just kind of points towards the Orioles here today. And then last game, Dodgers Diamondbacks. We saw kind of a back and forth game, which didn't expect, but the Dodgers ended up getting it done. We don't know who's pitching today. There is a mass disparity in this line, minus 218 plus 180. I would just say Dodgers. If we just look over the last 3 games, the Dodgers averaging 8 runs a game. Diamondbacks offensively, they've been struggling. They scored a couple last night, but really we just haven't seen enough offense from them to beat good teams. So, and the bullpen advantage is quite big there. Diamondbacks bullpen just sucks, and they really don't have anybody in that starting rotation they can roll out. That scares me, to be honest. And we know James Paxton isn't pitching for the Dodgers, so that's good. All right, best bets. I like Angels money line minus 112. Marlins team total over 3.5 at minus 110. Mets money line. We're going back to the well with the Chicago White Sox first 5 team total over 1.5. They got 1 in the first inning and then got their second run in the 6th inning instead of the 5th. But I like them today going up against a AAA pitcher with a 5.0 ERA. They should get that done today. I like the Reds team total over 3.5. If we look at the Reds, they're hitting left-handed pitching extremely well. They hit lefties quite well. That said, if you take the Reds team total under 3.5, you'd probably win. And I'm continuing to bet these damn Reds until I win. We're going to bet something with them. And then I like Rangers team total over 4.5. Adam Mazur is just terrible, and we're seeing the Rangers bats come to life. So really like that spot. Parlays, we're doing Brewers Rangers and the Phillies plus 396. We're doing Astros Angels Mets plus 533. Dodgers Braves Twins plus 241. So that's what we're doing there. You can kind of see how I have the teams ranked. Again, we don't know who's pitching for the Diamondbacks, but there's no one in that rotation that scares me. We know Paxton's not pitching. It should be one of their better pitchers going for the Dodgers tonight. Potential upsets at Colorado, Coors Field. I mean, you just don't know, right? They could come out and just score a bajillion runs. You have no idea. Washington Mets. I could see Washington winning today if the bats come to life against Christian Scott, right? It's been a while since he's pitched in the majors. Hopefully he doesn't get touched up. That's my only concern. Cubs and Phillies. Could see the Cubs. Imanaga could have a wonderful day. I think Wheeler still has a decent day. I think what we saw in his last outing, they left him out there in the 7th against the Marlins a little too long, and he got touched up. So third time through the order does scare me a little bit with Wheeler. Toronto could win. I don't think they will, but that is a potential upset. Seattle technically wouldn't be an upset as Baltimore is the underdog, but could see them getting to Kramer as it's been a little bit since he's pitched. And then Cardinals Pirates. Who knows, right? That's just like a coin flip of bad teams. So we saw the Cardinals end up scoring early and often yesterday, so we could definitely see that today. Prop leans, Jared Jones, 6.5 Ks is a little much, so I would lean towards the under there. Conversely, Blanco, I like him to go over 4.5 Ks. Eric Fetty over 3.5 Ks. What's crazy is the AAA pitchers line is 4.5, so. And he's heavily, I think he's minus 155 to go over that line. So that's a little interesting. Shota Iyamaga under 5.5 Ks at minus 115. And I like the Rangers to hit up Adam Mazur, so over 4.5 hits. I also liked the Yankees to hit up Graham Ashcraft in his 6 ERA, but they couldn't get the job done, which is mind-blowing. But it is what it is. So those are my best bets today. If you've made it this far, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate everyone subscribing. We did go over the 50 sub mark yesterday. So onwards towards 100. And I will see you tomorrow for our July 4th best bets.